What's up, guys? Chris here from Mainely Mesh. I'm going to stick with the louder audio instead of the cleaner audio because you guys always get mad at me for that. But so tonight I wanted to go through some of the fun pocket dynamics of this OG. Come on. Gosh. Work with me. OG STX Viper. Neat Head advertises it as the lightest high wall stick in the game. This was obviously before my time, which makes me feel young. But cool stick, strung it up with 20mm soft mesh. From, I believe, Gimalax, not entirely sure on that, and just did some cool stuff. So I'll take you through it. So I started out with my first ever 7-diamond top string, and so what I mean by that is you will see that across the top I tied 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then how I kind of accounted for that is I ended up. The way this pattern goes is I ended up tying, so this diamond here, which you can't really see, the last diamond, that 9th diamond, is actually being tied to the first, sorry, to the 3rd hole. So you're essentially yanking, you can see it a little bit better from the front. So see how you're yanking that last diamond all the way down, so you're creating this one big U. So as you can see how far I'm pulling down this channel, this is a straight here. That's not a U, that's just a straight, and that channel is pulled down so hard on the sides. And really, so the pattern went, so I tied the second 10-diamond row, the first non-top string row, all the way down to this 4th sidewall hole, all the way down there. That's the first, or the second 10-diamond row, and then I did a 1 anchor knot, 1, and then stacked SI on the second to last hole, and then I tied 1 to tie off. And so the goal being here is pulling down. So the way you get a Goldilocks channel is instead of tying the top really tightly and then pulling in a V. So if you can imagine pulling in a straight line from this top point of the head, pulling the mesh out like this, and that would create a V channel. The way you get this, quote, Goldilocks channel to hug the side of the ball is trying to pull it more vertically, so that you're trying to pull down from one of these side diamonds here, right, about the width of the ball, and pull that down and maintain that as well as possible, which you can see I tried to do here. So that line is being continued from one of those side diamonds all the way down until the point where, because if you think about it here, what's so tough about doing it in a wide head is that even all the way down here in the stick is wider than the ball, and significantly wider than the ball. That's why it's easier to get a, quote, Goldilocks channel on a head with a high flare, because it gets to that pinch point earlier, which means you can just pull vertically to a certain point and then start stacking there, and it's just going to maintain that width of the ball. But on such a wide V-shaped head, which is why it's difficult to get those Goldilocks channels on defensive heads, it's really tough to not be pulling it in a V. And for the most part, any type of channel you do is going to be pulling it in a V for a V-shaped head, which seems kind of counterintuitive. But so that Kiwi guy on Instagram was wondering how I did the throat. I just did a very simple, your average throat string through that last 10-diamond row. And I just bunched 4 and bunched 4, so it'd be like an in 2, out 5, in 6, out 9. You know, nothing fancy there. I also like to kind of tuck that last diamond inside the plastic with a 1 instead of pulling it all to the outside, and making sure that I also, because this is soft mesh, you know, making sure that that throat string is tied to that same 10 diamond row. So overall, these tags are driving me nuts. Overall, pretty bleeping happy with this. I mean, it's soft mesh, so who knows how it'll actually throw. It looks like it's not going to really catch too much at all. I mean, for 20 millimeter soft mesh, I mean, these diamonds are huge. Compared to, see, I think I have some. This isn't even 15 millimeter. This is 17.5 millimeter. And look at those diamond differences just between the two. This big 20 millimeter. But it definitely opened up my eyes to the idea of a 7 diamond top. I think what I'm going to start exploring with now is, I'm not sure, a 7 diamond top with especially with a 15 millimeter mesh would be a lot of tension going through your the top of your stick. But you know, possibly a, for your high school legal V-shaped head. So I'm thinking Nike Vapor, Nike Lakota, Evo for some of those heads, trying maybe a 10 diamond top string. I mean, an 8 diamond top string. So doing a 10 diamond and pulling down those 2 outside rows. Because I definitely found it easier to obtain a Goldilocks. I'm gonna put quotations around that because I don't. It's not a principle. It's not a law. It's a theory. It's not a law. So for those of you who aren't in the science world, the difference between a law and a theory: a law is something that is always true, always right, 100% of the time. It's hard to even. You know, it's still Einstein's theory of relativity. It's Newton's gravitational laws, but you know, a law is a big deal. It's not the Goldilocks law, it's the Goldilocks theory, and there's still much testing to be done with it. But I found it easier to obtain a Goldilocks theory channel in such a wide head by doing this. So time to keep on experimenting. Always good to try something new, even if it's a little outside the box. Because I definitely, for a while, didn't think any of this stuff really made much sense because I wasn't quite picturing it right. So here's to more experimenting. I'm already going to. I'm not going to try it, but I'm going to go string up this X10. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope this helps. Oh, also somebody on my questions video asked for a throat string tutorial theory video, so I think I'm going to throw that up soon. Yeah, wow, these videos are getting long. I can't believe you guys stick these out. I'll catch you guys next time.